Hello, today is January 10th, 2022, day 10 of my journey this year of 365 tarot spreads, one for every day of the year, primarily inspired by Sasha Grahams' book on 365 tarot spreads. Now, typically in the last 9 days I've been shuffling on camera. I did, and then realized that my camera wasn't on. I've got to check to see when Mercury goes retrograde because I've had the most tech glitches the last couple days that I'm concerned that something is around the corner or Mercury retrograde's around the corner. I just don't know that off the top of my head right now. But anyways, I had shuffled. I went to a whole intro and then I noticed that I wasn't recording. So we're starting over, but not completely because I really felt I was good with the shuffling and the pulling of the cards, so I didn't want to do that over until I read these. So today's spread is how to activate your muse, and it's inspired by Georgia O'Keeffe, artist that was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom by President Ford on this date, on January 10th, 1977. And she was famous for her large-scale flower paintings and rock and bone, New Mexico subjects. And she's regarded as one of the great artists of the 20th century. Now, this is the Georgia O'Keeffe Activate the Muse spread because her husband, photographer Alfred Stieglitz, his early work was of O'Keeffe, were nudes of O'Keeffe, and he referred to her as his muse, as his inspiration. And then through his work, her seeing his work of herself inspired her as well. So that is the inspiration I'm going to assume here from the book, that how we came to this spread. So muses derive from Greek mythology, and their usage really refers to them as something or someone with the ability to excite and innovate passion and call forth creative ideas and illuminations. So this spread is seeking out your muse, to name your muse and to aid you in any projects that maybe you're feeling a little maybe a little stagnant on. You need some new creative energy to move forward on a project. This is how we're going to activate that muse that we all have. So we're going to start with this number one card here is, where is my muse? We got the Nine of Cups. Nine of Cups is really, well, there's a couple of things I'm getting here. So nines in general are sort of, if you go through that 1 through 10 scale, it's that right before something is complete, or we finally, we're past that climactic point and we're downhill to that completion of whatever it is that we're talking about. Nine of Cups in particular also speaks to achieving that, our wish, like getting our fulfillment, our dream has come true, the thing we were seeking more of in the short term has come to fruition. So where is our muse? Getting this Nine of Cups is really signifying that our muse is tied to that wish that we have, and that energy of, not that we're close to finding her, but we're close to acknowledging where it is that our desire lies. And so our muse is hidden, really maybe not even hidden. It's really about us acknowledging and opening up and saying out loud what it is that what is that creative project that we're, maybe a little stagnant on. I mean, I can say that for me, it's been this back and forth with my spiritual practice, and finally just calling it out and giving myself almost a challenge, right? A goal of, I'm going to do these, I'm going to do a spread every single day just to keep me going. And some days I do multiple spreads because it's just what I'm being called for and how I'm balancing that into my day. But just naming that was the thing that I really wanted to do, but I was limiting myself and I wasn't saying it out loud because I have all these other responsibilities and jobs that I do, and other areas of my life that I had prioritized as being more significant. So that thing that was creative, that's inside of me that I really wanted to do, was continually pushed aside. So this Nine of Cups, from that perspective and to the collective, is really, where is your muse? Your muse is there. Your muse is in your wish. What is the wish that you want to fulfill, that you're so close to naming, that you're so close to really putting in front of you to move forward? This is your moment to call it. That becomes the muse, that becomes a creative vehicle to then propel that wish forward into fruition. It's a great, beautiful way to start this. Now, number two here is, how can I bring her close to me? I'll also say that for this spread in general, we're going to use the female pronoun, and I think that's important in that the myth behind muses in Greek, in ancient Greek mythology, really has to do with the feminine energy. So it's less about gender, more about the energy of that's tied to the feminine. So maybe a little more whimsical, more heart centered in that, in the way that our emotions flow through our creativity, that our seat in our sort of our pelvic seat, where we hold all of our creative energy. And for, if we went the gender, being really gender specific, then where it is that where our womb is, where we would carry children, where we birth that and create life in that seat, we can, men and women have the ability to feel that energy. So that is why we will refer to this as she and her in pronouns for this spread. So how can I bring her close to me? We have the Two of Swords. So the Two of Swords, swords are really tied more to our mental clarity, to our thoughts, to our mind. So how we can call forward, right? We have this wish, we have this passion, this desire that we're calling out to then guide us to develop it, you know, to bring it to fruition. So how do you bring that closer to you? It's really about removing any maybe how would I say this? I'm thinking of like when you know what you want. So it's like this. So say it's your birthday and you're blowing out candles and you make a wish and you close your eyes to make the wish, and people say, "Oh, you're not supposed to tell anybody your wish, or it's not going to come true." The way you're calling forward your muse through this Two of Swords is do that maybe, but don't close your eyes. Like maybe you have your eyes wide open so you're clear about it when you make your wish. So that the way you're calling it forward is not limiting yourself to, I got to keep it quiet, I have to close my eyes, I can't tell anybody. This is more the way you're going to call this energy forward. If there's some sort of a heart mind emotion sort of mind block here, so we know our muse is there, she's within that wish that we have, that but we're holding back from saying it out loud. There's something that's keeping us a little hesitant. Maybe we're saying it, like I said, maybe it's like a birthday wish and we can say it, but to ourselves, and we don't want anybody to know, and we don't want to tell anybody. And this Two of Swords is saying the way we're going to call, you know, your muse close to you to help inspire you to bring this forward is by releasing that and not holding back on that, and being clear and free to speak your wish out loud. And maybe it doesn't have to be to anybody else, but even the thought process in your mind, when you say things in your mind and you're saying to yourself that you have to keep it quiet, that seeps into how we do things, and then we start to believe that we have to keep it quiet. So maybe it's you writing it in a journal, or you putting it on your vision board. Maybe you're the only one that can see it daily, or you're the one that can hear it, but at least it's not being stifled inside just to your mind, where it's just trapped in there. So you want to release that, is how you're going to bring her close. In this third spot here, we have, when will I know she is here? You have the Queen of Swords. So swords, again, a lot of clarity. It's really being centered in our mind, in our thoughts, and how we relate those in our day-to-day. So the queen then is high up, right? She's a court card. She's sitting very secure and stern in her throne, and from her throne she is viewing her subjects, if you will, but she's doing so with total clarity, confidence, assurance. So you'll know your muse has come forward when we're no longer hiding behind because the queen is not hiding. So when you'll feel the energy of your muse when you release this energy. So I do believe that speaking what you want, removing that sort of that little bit of secrecy, and owning that I'm being guided here, that when we do that, we'll feel that presence, because the queen is all about confidence and um not arrogance, but she's confident, and she's confident in her decisions. She's confident in how she's approaching her projects in her area. She has thought things through, and she's very clear, and she's moving forward. So you're going to know your muse is with you when you feel that sensation of total confidence in your wish, in how she's manifesting to inspire you. You're calling in your muse when you get that rush of, you know, whether it's trying out a new recipe, or maybe there's a hobby, something you wanted to do. So it's morning, I'm drinking my coffee still. If it's, starting a new exercise routine, if it's applying for a new job, maybe it's within your same company that you work with or that you work for, and you want to, there's a possibility of a promotion or whatever it is that, but you're just thinking about it. You haven't, when you put it out there, when you feel that burst of, I got to do this right now. This is the moment I'm going to do my application. This is the moment I'm going to go get my tennis shoes and, lace up and go for a run. Or this is the moment that I'm going to try this new drive to work, or a new, an outfit that I've had for a while, but I haven't worn it because it's very far off of my style that people typically see me in, a new hairstyle, whatever it is. When you feel that burst of energy and creativity, but that's just very clear in your mind that you have to go and do it, that is your muse present in your space, moving that forward for you. And that's how you will know. And from this spread, it will be tied to this wish that you're now releasing, and giving it the words and the space to start to grow and come into existence. So number 4 here, we have, what does she like? And we have the 8 of Wands. This is very simple, clear message. She likes communication, fast and clear. She's not she isn't going to breadcrumb you to things. Your muse isn't going to secretly show up or hang around while you decide whether or not you want something. She is a fast communicator. She brings in her messages, they're all tied to creativity, to passion, to new ideas, to illuminating those ideas, and seeing different ways to bring them into creation. And so, she's not so much about the inception, right? That's the clarity. Those are the ideas. She is the put into action. And so what she likes is she likes that communication from you as well. So you can work with your muse very actively, like you would a spirit guide. If you work with guardian angels, if you work with ancestors, you can do this spread for yourself to get actually more of a direct descriptors to know who your muse is. This is a really good jumping off point for you to have some ideas of how to know. So, like I said, a clear moment when you're like, oh my gosh, I've been wanting to do this for so long, and now here I'm doing it. And sometimes I know this has happened to me, where I'll say, gosh, I've been wanting to do this for so long, and now that I'm doing it, I don't know what took me this long. Like, why didn't I just do it months ago or years ago, or whenever I had first had the idea? And I know it's because in those past moments, I wasn't connecting with my muse, and I wasn't intuitively sensing, when I had that ability to hear her, what is she like, that clear communication, that really owning what are my passions, what are my desires, and saying them out loud. And when I have done that, and this push that I just get up and do it, and I'm doing my thing, I know it's because I'm listening and I'm being mindful to hearing and receiving those messages from the muse that we all have available to us. And so what she likes is she is going to be a communicator, clear and fast, not stringing you along, hoping you'll get there. That is not how the muse functions. Now, what does she want me to create? The high priestess. Come on. Whether you're new to tarot or you're like me, wanting to expand and get back into a practice, the high priestess, that's our third eye. She is the ultimate in our intuition and what lies beneath our surface, but is the most connected, right? The most direct line to spirit, to our guides, to our muses, to our guardian angels, to our ancestors. It's through that intuition, it's through that quieting down and really meditating to hear and feel and sense with all of our senses, what those messages are that the universe has for us. So what she wants you to create is this direct line to accessing all of the energy that the universe has set up for each of us. And one of those areas is through our muses, right? Through finding our muse. We don't have to have one. We may have multiples. It's like fairies and our guardian angels, and so it's all accessible to us if we're open to receive it. So she wants us to create that communication portal to accessing our higher self and all of that energy that the universe has to provide us with these muses and this inspiration to create and have the life that we want, that we desire. And so that is what she wants. And there's no clearer message than the high priestess. And then, what is she like? This communication. Now, in this number 6 spot, we have how does she help me? And we have the 5 of Pentacles. And the way that your muse is going to help you is to move away. So 5s are, right in the middle. Like I said in the beginning here, we have that sort of 1 through 10, right? Well, ace through the 10. And it's a shorter journey amongst the larger fool's journey. We'll have these moments, these smaller, situations that we go through day to day. And then the fool's journey can extend into, you have multiple journeys going on at the same time in different parts of your life. So a large umbrella is, love or career, health, things like that. And so say career, you could have the fool's journey can be, it's extended over time, whether it's your education and then your work life. But within that umbrella, you'll have these shorter situations that you're encountering along the way. And so you have that, ace through that completion moment, and then it cycles over. And like I said, within a more in-depth, longer journey that you're on. So the 5 is right in the middle. It's that culminating point of whether it's, you're starting something out and you get to that middle point, there's a challenge or there's some sort of opportunity. Typically it's, an opportunity to decide right at that midpoint, how have things been working, and then where do you need to go to then go down the down sort of spot, the downward part of completion. So what the muse helps you with is in that midpoint. Are you, if you're a writer, are you having writer's block? If you're, whatever block it could be, it could be if you're a painter, if you're whatever. It doesn't have to be artistic either. I mean, it typically is, but it's artistic in how we define that, so you can be in comedy or dance or, astronomy, and there's creativity in all of that. There's creativity in, studying English or history as well. So it's just a matter of developing. What is it that you're developing within the area that you are trying to access? Remember that wish. What is that area? And so what she does, so how she helps you is when you have those moments, those midpoint moments when there's some sort of an area that you may feel is lacking, or there's a pivotal opportunity to change, that is where she really helps you. So once you've determined who your muse is and how you communicate, and again, it's through that really quieting of how do you create in your life, and you call her in, then how she's going to continually help you is when you have this Five of Pentacles. That's very grounded, earthly energy. So you're meditating, you're doing a lot of this spiritual work to have the channel open, but she knows that you're here on earth. And here on earth is where you're living and working and creating. And so she's going to help you she's going to help you here, and she's going to help you when you need it. When you're feeling that less inspired, maybe it's a little cloudy, how do I bring her close? I'm not sure. What is it that I'm needing this muse for that I would, want? How can I hear her? When any of this side starts to feel a little unstable, or you're at a moment actually in the middle of a project and you're having an issue, this is when she's going to help you. So that Five of Pentacles, that's when she helps, right? She comes in here in this moment where you are, where you need her, and she helps you get past that bump. And the last card we have here is what can we achieve together? And this is the Knight of Swords. So we have a lot of sword energy, which is interesting because it makes sense that we would have sword energy in how do you activate a muse, because we get so caught up in our thoughts and we overthink things all the time. And that's when we need a message. That's when we need our messenger. That's where we need our Knight of Swords to dash in super fast with his sword and just slash those cobwebs out of our mind, or slash those overthinking thoughts in a really almost harsh way, right? It's how we're going to how we're going to achieve a relationship with our muse is when we accept this message from the Knight, and he just comes in, he clears everything up. We don't have to like his process because it can seem very abrupt, but what you achieve is that clarity to be able to tap into this High Priestess energy and welcome this Eight of Wands communication, so that we can achieve that, wish fulfillment of what is that project, right? What excites us, to be innovative and want to create, what are our passions, what lies within us that we need illumination on. So we need to be, we can all get stagnant in or we get comfortable in our day-to-day autopilot life structures. And so we have things that we desire secretly, that we want to go and do. I love these Organites. And every now and then I'll think, would I want to learn how to make them? Is that something that I would want to do? There really isn't anything in me that gets inspired to want to make them. I love that I know Wing and Bell, and they make them and they custom make them and they're great, whatever, and I love that they have that, but it's not something that I'm drawn to, but I'm drawn to other things, and so that's where I believe we all are. We all have things that we love and we admire, and sometimes deep down we'll want to do that, and we're not sure how to say that, especially if we see somebody that's doing it really well. Then we hold back because we think, well, we already know someone that's doing it great, so what would I have to offer that to do that? And then we keep silent about what it is that we would want to create. So how you work together and what you can achieve with your muse is having that, like I said, the Knight of Swords doesn't wait around, and he can be very abrupt in his way, but that's sometimes what we need. And your muse will help you achieve that, because she will make sure that you're not limiting yourself. And if you wanted to learn how to make these, you should, and you can, and you can do that. Or what is it that motivates and moves you, you know? And it's just taking that leap and trusting and listening to your muse when she's clearly seated right there, and your confidence is like at an all-time high. You know she's in there bringing you this message because you've connected with her, and she wants you to create this, and she's there. If you are already in that space, like you could be a tarot reader, you could be a spiritual practitioner in other ways, and maybe you're listening to this particular reading, and as you're reading it, you're like, oh my gosh, this is a message for me, because I already do really, I already live in that space of what I'm doing, what I want to do. I'm living my passion, my dream, but maybe right now I'm feeling a little Five of Pentacles, a little stagnant there. I need a little push. And this is when you call her in. You know, this is her abrupt message to you to tap into her so that you can create anything that you want. You have the possibility through this, this, where is she? She lives in your wishes. She is right there to help you fulfill your desires, your passions, your wishes. That is where she is. And this is how she comes forward. So I'm going to end this with an oracle card. This is from the Mystical Wisdom. It seemed appropriate for this very whimsical type of reading. And these are really pretty cards. We got vacation. Take time for relaxation and adventure. That's a perfect way to close this, because this is, once again, I would say my own muse is here, and she is asking all of us to take this vacation with her. Let's sit, let's quiet our minds, let's meditate, let's take that time to relax and call forward our muse, and then go on this adventure with her to see, for us to really realize that anything we want to create is possible, and we're not doing it alone in a vacuum. We have our spiritual community there waiting to help guide us along the way. And so if we take that pause, we can call in our own personal muse and go on this great adventure with her, here in our in our day-to-day lives, and create the life that we really really wish for ourselves. So I hope you do this spread for yourselves too, to really connect and maybe get some more particulars about who your muse is. And I hope that you do call her in and you start creating, and I would love to hear about that. Anyway, so with that, I'm going to end here, and I will be back tomorrow, January 11th.